Hello friends. At the end of August we celebrate the feast days of two great saints. We celebrate the feast day of the great Saint Augustine, my great friend, on the 28th of August. But the day before, this year on Thursday, we celebrate the feast day of his mother, Saint Monica. And of course in Catholic tradition, Monica is the patron saint of mothers. So in a sense, Thursday the 27th of August is Catholic Mother's Day. And I want to talk to you today, to mothers in particular, on the feast of this great old lady. Have you any idea, mothers, what a pivotal role you play in the lives of your sons so that we can grow and survive and prosper? Without our mothers, we sons cannot grow into being God's sons. Without your constant love, we sons remain impoverished shadows of what God wants us to be. With all my heart, I talk to you on this Monica Day, asking you to remember your vital role in the life of the world and in the life of the church and in the life of your sons. Today we recall a North African woman of the 4th century who shaped the life of Augustine. And Augustine is the man whose thinking and whose writing have shaped how the Western world has been thinking and writing and acting for 1700 years. She was married very unhappily, and there were hints in Augustine's writings that at times she drowned her sorrows in a little too much wine. She bore the unkindness of her husband with great patience, sheltering her sons from his excesses, and she taught them the Christian faith without his cooperation, maybe even against his opposition. This Monica, the mother of the great Augustine, struggled as all you mothers do. She struggled to love her husband in spite of his imperfections. She protected her children while playing a vital role in her local church. If only this woman could talk to us. But she can. She can talk to us, because in the writings of her son, Monica can talk to the mothers of today. Agustine, her son, speaks of his mother as sharp-eyed, and I would think sharp-tongued as well. This was no fading violet of a woman. This woman knew what she thought, and she was not afraid to express her opinions. Agustine, her son, left home, went to Carthage, to the big college town, and there began doing things that Monica didn't agree with. He writes himself in the Confessions. He says, "I arrived at Carthage, where the noise of scandalous love affairs raged around me. I was not yet in love, but I was in love with the idea of love. I polluted the stream of friendship with my filthy vices, and I clouded its purity with hellish lusts." Monica, the mother, knew that her son, her teenage son, was living in an immoral relationship in Carthage. She prayed for him. She advised him constantly. All, it seems, to no avail. But Monica never abandoned her son. One day, as she was coming out of Mass, she confronted the local bishop. She said to him, "Go talk to my son. Advise him, admonish him. Say something to him that will make him live a good Christian life." And of course he advised her, "Oh, my dear, just pray for your son." And she was having none of this. And so she cried and she cried. She said, "You must go talk to my son." He said, "No." He said, "Go away now. But remember that with tears like yours, no son could be lost. With tears like yours, no son could be lost." Dear mothers, sometimes all you can do for your sons is cry and pray. Forgive me if this reflection sounds perhaps not exactly 21st century. It's not exactly the most modern thing in the world to say about the role of woman in the world. But We're dealing with the feast day of a 4th century saint. And the world has changed a great deal since Monica's time, there's no doubt. But the hungry hearts of your sons, that hasn't changed. The weakness of our society looks very like the weakness of the society into which Monica and Augustine lived. It was the same weakness that destroyed Roman society. Roman men were taught that they should be heroes in athletics, in war and in debate. Becoming heroic would make them loved, and then that would fill their hunger in their hearts. The bright and independent Monica warned her 2 sons that becoming a hero was not the pinnacle of human life. She told them that knowing, loving and serving God was the pinnacle of human happiness. Roman society was powerful, it was brutal and brilliant. Women walked in the shadows, and the weak, well, they were fed the crumbs that fell from the rich man's table. Men were taught that they should rip power from the hands of others, and then they could hand down scraps of charity to the slave and to the child and to the woman and to people of lesser nations. But like the stubborn Monica, you are not to abandon your sons to the culture. It's a culture that teaches men that the hungry heart can be fed by power and domination. You are to teach them, Catholic mothers, just as Monica taught her son, that charity to others is really part of a conversation, not with others, but with God. In school, Augustine was taught that virtue was found in self-improvement. Your sons will be taught the same thing if you allow it to happen. But self-discipline is for the self-perfection of the individual, and that personal glory matters most. Unless you teach Catholic values to your sons, they will never learn them. They will look at women as weak and pleasurable. Unless you teach them the Christian virtues of faith, hope and charity, they will grow up despising the gentleness of Christ as we see him in the New Testament. Any charlatan can teach false values to your sons, but from you, the mothers of St. Mary Magdalene, who model yourselves on Augustine's mother, from you they should learn something different. From you they should learn about faith and hope and love and higher things. Teach your sons the love of God and neighbour, and you will be Monicas. On this, the feast day of Augustine, I want to show you something. This is my coffee cup. But even my coffee cup, I'm afraid, bears the image of Augustine. You have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our hearts cannot be at rest until they rest in Thee. This is the son of Monica, the greatest mind in the Western world, the most quoted man in history. Let me quote for you, finally, as I finish, from Sermon 163 of St. Augustine. And I want you to listen to this, and I want you to try and put this into effect as you deal with your troublesome sons. And I was a very troublesome son. In Sermon 163, he says, De ambulat autem in nobis presentia majestatis, si latitudinem invenit caritas. Latin for, yet the presence of the glory of God walks among us, if only love will make space for him. Dear mothers, history tells us that your sons will only make space for Christ in their heart if you show them how. You must show them, even after they leave for college and get married and all the rest. You, mothers, have to show us, the sons, how to make space for God in our hearts. Thank you.